Awesome. And here we go. So, welcome everyone to our Tech Talk for today. We are going to be doing an introduction to Nearpod. We are really excited about this. We've had a lot of people ask about it. There has been a lot of people, hey, can we have some training on Nearpod? So, we are really excited to present this material to you. Um, we are a smaller group. If there are more people that come in, that's fine. But I think we're going to be a pretty small group today, which is completely great. I love having small groups because that just encourages more communication and talking and conversation. So if you do have any questions, always feel free to put them in the chat, and Jamie's going to be watching the chat. And so if you have any questions, she will either answer or just stop or have me stop, and we can discuss whatever needs to be discussed. These webinars are all for you guys, so we want to make sure we are meeting your needs. So maybe, there we go. Right quick, I'm going to do some quick introductions. My name is Meriah Guillen. I am the AE Instructional Coordinator here at Clovis Community College, and I will be doing this presentation. And we have the wonderful Jamie Trujillo, who is doing the moderating. She is wonderful, so if you have any questions, please just go ahead and ask them in that chat. She will be able to help, or if she knows the answers, she will answer right away. If not, she'll say, hey, stop talking because I know you like to talk. Stop talking, and we have a question here. So awesome. And if you ever want to contact either one of us, our emails are right there. And we can put them in the chat later if you guys would like that. So let's jump right into this because there is a lot of information that we're going to go over today. Really excited about it. So quick overview is what exactly is Nearpod. And I just, when I was doing this, I just went to Nearpod and I wanted to see what were they really about. So Nearpod is really designed to make teaching easier. It has those interactive tools. It has a lot of resources. It has all of the content that teachers need all in one place. And so that's the biggest thing about it. It's that you don't have to go out searching for all of these things. It makes it quick and easy because it's all right there, right for you. So this also includes interactive slides, interactive videos. All of your materials can be gamified, and there's so many activities that can be put into this. And it's a great place for teachers to be able to come, get all of their materials, create a presentation, and just jump right into teaching. So that is Nearpod in a nutshell. But here's the big question is, why in the world should I use Nearpod? Nearpod is great for engaging students. A lot of times we talk about how can I have retention? How can I keep students engaged? All of that thing. Nearpod is a great tool to help encourage students to stay engaged and to become a part of their own learning. So it allows students to take control of their learning. Even if it is teacher-led or even student-led, the students have the ability to be as much involved or as little as involved in their learning. And this just gives them the outlet to become more in control of what they are actually retaining and learning. It allows for total participation. So as a teacher, you get to see who's being involved, who's not. And it really does open the floor to allow more people to jump in and participate with all of these different ideas. It helps to build those technological skills, some of those skills that we really want our students to run with. It helps because this can be used on a cell phone, on a tablet, on a computer. And it also helps them with like navigating tabs or navigating different windows. So it's really great to help build some of those technology skills. And lastly, it's a great way to just collaborate and share with other instructors, whether you know who the instructor is or whether you don't. If you're working as a team, if you're working within a program, it's a great way to be able to come together and just interact, collaborate, share, and see that everyone is still on the same level as you. Or, maybe there's someone that you can mentor, or if you become a mentoree. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but it just really does involve a lot of collaboration, not just with instructors, but again, with students, because the students feel very connected to their lessons. So we are going to jump right into it. The best way for us to show you this, instead of just doing a long presentation, is to actually go to Nearpod itself. Awesome. So here we are. So when you are here, there's a couple of things that you need to know is that you can definitely get a free one, but I would not recommend that. If you have an NMDelt account, we do have this as part of our subscription. So if you have an NMDelt account, you do have the subscription for it. If you have an existing NMDelt account, then you can, and you don't have a Nearpod subscription, just reach out to Tina and Tina can set up that account for you. But so to come in here, you're just going to go ahead and right here where it says sign up for free, that's where you kind of go through the process of creating your account. If you, again, like I said, if you have created an NMDelt account, down at the bottom, whenever you're creating an account, it'll say, do you want to Nearpod and EdReady? If you have selected one of those or those options or the Nearpod option, you will get your subscription into this. But we're going to go ahead and just log right on in to Nearpod, and I'm just going to sign in with Google because I have my account set up through my NMDelt account. So sign in with Google, select my profile, and here we go. Now my internet is going a little bit slower today, but that's all right. All right, so this is Nearpod, and so as you start doing a lot more, this will get a lot more busy, probably a lot more cluttered. I'm not a clutter person, so I do have folders and all of this stuff. But you have all of these options here where you have like lessons, reports. We're not going to go through all of this today because I want to just do the introduction. There are tons of options, tons of different things that you guys can look at. But for right now, we're just going to go very basic. We're doing Nearpod 101, so this is where we're going to start with. So Nearpod is pretty much like a slideshow presentation that is very interactive. So a couple ways you can do this. You can either search for a pre-existing lesson or you can create a lesson on your own. I am very lazy at this. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and look for a pre-existing lesson. Now I can search right here and it says search lessons in your library, which is great. Or you can come here where you can do the Nearpod library and search for all kinds of content. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to search for something that we have been doing within our classrooms is concentration camps and internment camps. And this has been a really interesting lesson. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull up this activity because this has been a really fun one. I'll go ahead and do this one. So whenever you see all of these lessons, it gives you like a quick overview of what is in there, what you might want to look at. But if you want to engage with it a little bit more and see exactly what is in there, you can always go to this preview lesson button, which will pop up the lesson. There we go. We'll pop up the lesson. Now you won't be able to see like all of the activities or all of the questions as clearly as you would if you were like on a student view, but it just gives you a brief preview. So here I am. I'm going to preview through this and just to see, is this something that I really want to show my students? Is it something that I really want to be engaged with? Or is there something else that I need? So let's say I like this lesson. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my lessons here. So I'm adding to my lessons. So now it is in my lessons folder. That first page that we first got into as soon as we signed in, it'll be there. Now, if I want to edit this, I'm going to say show in my lessons, which will take me to, there we go. It'll take me to a page where I am able to edit or able to just join right in. So if I like it, I don't want to do anything with it, I can say live participation, which means we would do it together. So if you're in classroom or on Zoom, however you want it, you can hit this live participation button and you navigate the slides. Everyone will see on either their phone or on a computer, they will be able to see all of the slides as they are being presented, but you as the teacher get to control it. Now, let's say you just want them to do this as a homework assignment, you can have it student-based or student-paced, excuse me. And student-paced means that they get to do all of the assignments on their own. With student-paced, you definitely do want to make sure that all of the assignments that are in there are designed for student just one-on-one student interaction, because if you have something that is like a discussion board, it won't it won't be effective because the students won't be able to interact with each other. They can only interact with themselves. Okay. So those are the two options. If you just wanted to jump right into it and present the materials, that would be great. That would be fine. But let's say that you wanted to add some more materials into it, you would come here to this edit button. Now for this, because it is already in your file, excuse me, on your dashboard, you can either edit the lesson just as is, or you can duplicate the lesson. I would highly recommend duplicating the lesson just in case something goes wrong, or maybe delete something. You always have the original to go back on. But go ahead and hit that duplicate lesson. Perfect. And this is what the edit page looks like. Now, it has all of the slides on their own, and you get a real brief, quick overview of what everyone, of all the ones that are there. So for this one, there are 35 slides, and I can get a very quick overview of, which ones are content material, which ones are interactive lessons, the open-ended, the draw, the slideshows, all of this here. It shows you a quick overview. Now, if there was one that I wanted to edit, I would just click on it and it would open it up. Oh, maybe there we go. So if I wanted to edit this page, let's say I didn't like the background, I could come here and just change the background, anything that I needed to do, and then just hit save. Now this is if I am just doing quick edits to one that is already existing. There are so many options that we could do here. There are things that we could add, we could take out. If it is a pre-existing lesson, typically, and like me, I don't like doing a whole lot of work, especially if I'm like short on time. I'm like, oh no, I need to just, quickly pull something together. These are really great just to take and go. Now, again, like I said, if there's something that you really don't want in there, you can always edit it out or you can add more to it. But let's say for the sake of time that I, made a couple of edits because I didn't want the blue background. All I'm going to do is say save and edit, or save and exit, excuse me. Gotta love my brain. It's a Friday brain. And then here it is in my on my dashboard. Now, if you can notice, I've already done these a couple of times, but here it shows me which one is the original, because it'll say, and I can't hover over it, it'll say Nearpod VR right up here, historical events, and it has like this little icon there. And then this one over here on this side, actually, there we go, actually has my name. So that's the one that I have edited and maybe added or taken out, made some changes. So that's the one that I probably will want to do. Again, this is just the original to kind of keep in your folders to see, oh, this is where I got it from. This is the one that I would have edited. Now, if you want to come here to your dashboard, maybe you've saved some, you don't have to be in there at the time and then start presenting. So as soon as I come to my dashboard, I can hover over it. And again, I have that live participation or that student paste. I can preview it or I can edit it. I have all of my options right here. And of course, if I wanted to drag it to a folder to make it a little bit more organized, I definitely could do that. All right. So if you just wanted to search a quick lesson, get it over with, I just need a quick lesson for today. I need something, maybe your class is an hour long and you planned an activity and the activity only went 20 minutes long. Oh no, what am I going to do? You can quickly search a lesson and, have something to continue your classroom with. Now, if you have time, one of the things that you can do is create one of these presentations from scratch. And this is really fun, but I will say right now, and I don't want you guys to get too overwhelmed, is that there are a lot of options. There's a lot of different materials that you can use, a lot of different avenues you can take. So before I show you guys, I don't want you guys to like kind of freak out or anything like that, because it can. As soon as I saw this and when I was starting to explore with Nearpod and do stuff, I was like, there are so many options. Where do I start? Take time. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just choose what is going to work best for you and then run with it. But with this create lesson, there are 4 different options that you have. Now you can create a whole slideshow presentation. You can do all of the activities, all of the content, the media, worksheets, all of that can be put into a lesson. You can definitely do that. If you just wanted to do a video that has built-in questions, you have that option as well. You don't need to create a whole presentation. You could just do a simple video and be done with it. If you wanted to do just like a quick activity, because this is all very interactive, if you just wanted to do an activity, you could just build the activity again without actually having to build the lesson. And then the last one, which we are going to label because we realized how intensive it was, is actually merging in a Google Slides presentation to a Nearpod lesson. And that one, like I said, we're going to leave that one for more advanced Nearpod lesson, simply because you do have to become comfortable with Google Slides and how to use add-ons, and it's a lot of work. So for today, we are just going to focus on the lessons, the creating the content, adding media, and those activities.
Could I ask one quick question about that?
Definitely.
Does it work both ways with Google Slides? Could you import a Google slide and turn it into a Nearpod?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I won't ask any more questions. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're good. You're good. Yeah. So with the Google slide, you can have a Google slide already made and then just merge it into it. One of the things that makes it a little bit easier is it'll open Google Slides and then you'll have the add-ons, which you'll have like a Google slide and Nearpod, and then you have to work with it like that. So it is a little bit more complicated, but it is an option for sure that we can explore either in our workshop or later down the road. That was a good question. I like questions. All right. Oops, sorry. I got ahead of myself. So here is a blank slate. So I showed you earlier what it looks like if you're getting one and editing it. But this is what a blank slate looks like. Of course, I could change my settings here, which I did not do earlier, but I can just say Nearpod lesson. I can add all of this stuff, do whatever I want with the settings and then just hit submit. And so it now has its name, but I'm going to come to this new. So when I hit new, either here or here, it's going to do the exact same thing, take me to the exact same place. So it doesn't matter which one you do, which one you click on. So here is where I said this can get a little bit overwhelming. So what I would say as a best practice is just pick one or two to explore. If you have never used Nearpod before, pick one or two of them to explore and use them until you become comfortable with it, and then add more on later. But I'm going to go through them pretty quickly just to kind of give you an idea of what they are like. So right here, this is just to add a slide. It's a blank slide with the editor, so it's just a content material. These two are both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you what a blank slide looks like, because it looks very similar to Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. Excuse me. All right, so right here we have some limited themes that we can work with. I can go ahead and pick any one of them. I also have the layout, so this looks very much like slides or PowerPoint. And I can have like a title, a big title, a small title, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to go right here and I'm just going to say Nearpod lesson. If I can spell, maybe. There we go. I can also add any audio, a video, a different background, the images. But this is, like I said, it's very similar to Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint. My brain just kind of turned off there for a moment. But I could do any of this. I can add it. I can change it. I can change the font, the text, anything like that, the layout. It's limited, of course, because it's not as extensive as what slides or PowerPoint would be, but it does give you enough, just pretty much what we need. Now there's two options here. I can just save it. If I save it, it'll take me to my home, not my home page, but the edit page, or I can say save and add new, which will add a new, just another new slide right here. And so I want to just say save. And then it brings me back to this page right here. Okay, so I have my first slide, and now I'm going to go back to my content and activities. All right, The next one that I wanted to show is the video. Now, this is really, really fun because I know a lot of us, or at least in my classroom, I always find a video that I really like. And throughout the video, I'll stop and ask a comprehension question. Do you guys get that? Did you understand this word? Or did you understand what's going on? Or this connected to that? With this, if I come to the videos, it allows you to embed questions within, and you can do so much with it. So Nearpod has this amazing feature where it will have Nearpod original videos. So they'll all be here, they'll all be ready to go. You can also upload from YouTube. If you have any Nearpod videos already existing, you can go ahead and use those, or you can upload a video from your computer. So there's a lot of different options that you have here. For this one, I'm just going to stay here in the Nearpod Originals. I can search for videos, anything that I'm needing, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click down here on this Greek mythology one. Okay. I'm going to turn off the volume just so that way there's not too much noise going on. And so if you notice right here, with these built-in Nearpod original videos, there are these blue dots, which means there are already questions that have been built in. So here at 36 sentence, there is an open-ended question, okay? So if I were to play this and on the student side, it's playing, it's playing, it's playing, it'll play this video until it gets to this point. So when it comes to this point, give it a little bit, 34 seconds, 36 seconds, there we go. It'll stop here and it will bring up on the student end, and it's a little hard to see this one because it doesn't quite show you what the students would see, but on the student's end, it would have this open-ended question of how much do you already know about Greek mythology, okay? Now, if you didn't want this question, you can edit it and delete it, or you can add a new question, or you can even click and drag where you actually want this one to be. There's a lot that you can do with it. But on the student end, they would type the answer, hit enter, and then the video would continue and they would go on. Now, if there is something that you want to add in, so let's say here at 110, I want to add a question of my own. I would go to this button that I just hit that says add activity, and it gives me just two options. It gives me either an open-ended question or a multiple choice question. And I could do either one. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit this this open-ended question and say, what color is her dress? And then hit save. And there it is. It saved it right there. So when the student is watching, they'll open up this question, they answer it, and then continue on. Another nice thing about this, and if you had like a YouTube video that is, you know, an hour long and you only want a certain portion of it, there is this trim button. So I can make it as long or as short as I want. I can add as many questions as I want. Any one of them, it doesn't matter. So if I only wanted it to be like 30 seconds long, I don't know how to do time. So we're going to say that's about 2 minutes. There we go. It's not even 2 minutes. It's some time. I don't do math, but that's what it is. So if this is all I wanted, I would just say save, and then it's going to verify, save and trim, or go back. I want to save and trim it. And that is all that my students would see. And so it's going to save it and bring me back to this editing page. So there I have that. And again, I'm just going to add content and activities. This web content is just for URLs, articles, anything that you would love your students to explore outside. And so I'm not going to go over that one too much. We have vocabulary, which is videos that have been embedded through vocabulary. These are like, a lot of them could be like terminology. It's a lot of interactive videos, so which is very similar to some of these videos here, but it is through vocabulary. And so I'm not going to take too much time because it is very similar to that one. And I'm going to come here to the Nearpod 3D. These are really, really fun because they are images that students are able to turn and twist and really look at from different angles. So I'm going to open it right quick, but I know my internet has been a little bit iffy today. And so it was taking a long time to upload earlier, but it does have a certain amount of different topics here. They have the amazing places and things, ancient times, the human body. And so I'm just going to go ahead and choose one right quick. And I'm going to hit done. And because it is, oh, that was fast. Oh, I love the internet sometimes. There we go. Now, remember on the teacher side, it might be a little bit difficult to see. So if I wanted to preview it, I could. I'm going to wait till the end so that way you guys can see it all at once. But there that is. And the students can take it. They can turn the body. They can look at it. They can zoom in, zoom out. It's really nice and really fun for them to see it, see a 3D object, especially if you are not in class, if you're still doing virtual. This gives the students a little bit more of an opportunity to play and manipulate with some of the things that they might be able to in if they were face-to-face or anything like that. All right. These PhET stimulations are very similar. They're math and science, very interactive. They're a lot of fun because they give the students the opportunity to either like balance equations, play with how I think one of my favorite ones is like a pendulum, and they're actually able to do a lot of things that sometimes as programs we don't have the ability to buy all of the things that we really would, like a telescope or anything like that. But these PhET simulations, give you that opportunity. So I can go ahead and open this, and I'm going to do this one this time, and it added it right in there. I'm going to come back to my content. These VR field trips will actually give you the opportunity to pick a place in the world and have the students really look at it. So if you're doing, like, for example, we did World War II and we did concentration camps and internment camps this last week. So one of the things we did is I had them go and research, different pictures of what they were, did like a compare and contrast. This actually gives them the opportunity to be like on a street view. So it's like, if you've ever played with Google Maps, which I think we all have, or at least I have a lot because I'm goofy and I guess have no time to do anything else. But you sit there, you're on the street view, and you can turn and twist and move, and that does that as well. And it's really cool to see because it gives them just a different insight. Now, it doesn't have all of them, but what it does have available is really nice. If they have like the VR goggles, it gives them the option to use that as well. The BBC worldwide videos are also those videos. Again, it's very similar to these videos, just it is by the BBC worldwide. So those are like specific videos for that they have that you could do the exact same thing. Sway are these pre-made slides and presentations that you can incorporate. You just add more slides in there, things that have already been made. You're just merging them together. This slideshow is files that students can scroll through. So this can be anything that you have uploaded or that you want students to really see. Students can go through and look at those as well. It's just another slide to get the students engaged and make it interactive. You can also upload audio files. If you have any of those available, you can do it. There's a lot of different ways just to upload some sort of audio file, and you can have it on its own slide. One of the things that I really like with this is like if we were doing compare and contrast of different speeches, stuff like that would be really nice to have side by side. And then there is this PDF viewer. So a lot of us still have PDFs, things that we have saved. So if we wanted to just keep a PDF like extra notes, we can definitely upload that as well. So this is all content. There is a lot of different things that you can add here, but this is just content to help bring forth the concepts that you are trying to present with your class. Now notice up here, there is content and then there's activities. So I can either click from content to activities or I can scroll. Either way, it's going to take me to the exact same place.
Meriah?
So, yes.
Really quickly, Eric was wondering if there was another way to browse the materials besides through the content tab in this pop-up menu.
To like see everything at once?
There's a Nearpod library. It says library on the side. You can click on that library. I think that works. And not when she's right here, but when you have on the side when it says library at the beginning.
Oh yeah, so like if you wanted a pre-made lesson or something like that.
Yeah, if I wanted to maybe like search by grade level or search by subject matter, or search,
Yeah,
and just like preview stuff before I start creating a Nearpod.
yeah. So you can definitely do where we were searching earlier. You can go in and search through there. Um, there are different search options. Let me go ahead and save and exit right quick. I do. That's a good question. So if I come here to the library, I can search by subjects. I can search lessons, activities, or videos. And then I can search by grades. I can even search by standards.
Oh, okay, and then that's identical database to what's in that pop-up. Okay, thank you.
And then of course here, there's so many ways to search for these things, but there's the videos, the activities, lessons, all of them are there. If there's one that you find, it's pretty easy as long as you know what the title is. It's easy to match it back up once you are like building your activity.
I was just to let you know there was a co-ed presentation on financial literacy, and he was going over Nearpod, and so that's when I was playing around with it. And according to Tina, I guess I already had it set up because it asked for my NM account, so I put that in there, and that's why I have it set up. So I was scrolling through some of these library and the videos and stuff, and they're pretty good. There's a lot of good content.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So if you have an NM Delt and if it has, when you make your NM Delt, yeah, you should have access to Nearpod. There is so much content on here. It's easy to get lost. I don't know how long I've spent just trying to search through Nearpod, but it is very easy to kind of get down that rabbit hole. But there's a lot of really, really good content.
Yeah, and I actually, just to let you know, I actually teach psychology classes at UNM Valencia. And so I found a good one on Nearpod about PTSD. So I actually shared that with my students from my other class too. So
Wow, that's exciting. That is exciting. I know a lot of our teachers here have also tried Nearpod, and I just hear great feedback all the time of, oh, it's just such a great program and the students love it. And of course, you do have those one or two students that are going to be difficult, but for the most part, all of the students like it and the teachers love it because it is interactive and it's such a break from the traditional lecture and here's a worksheet, and it's just a great relief for a lot of people. And I'm glad this is being used, and it does need to be used more. I see Tina in the corner of my eye.
Thank you. Yeah, just a couple of things to add about our particular account. So I am no longer automatically adding new teachers to Nearpod when they request their NM Delta account. We had a lot that weren't being used, and then the people who were using it or wanted to use it, I didn't have enough licenses. So we do have a limited number of licenses. But as you mentioned, Val, we do have the higher ed edition of Nearpod, but it also includes everything. So we have absolutely everything that Nearpod has to offer, and plus some. So if you would take just a second, Meriah, to click on the school library, I don't know if that was in your plan, but if you decide to share your lesson with the rest of the state, so this is restricted to New Mexico adult education, then you can share it here in the library and you can see who's doing it. Now, why am I not seeing? See, mine looks a little different because I'm an administrator. Under the filter button, Meriah, would you click that? And no, that's very interesting. So we should be able to see, you can see things here. I recognize names, and some of you might recognize Kristen Waring, Claudia Lopez, Wendy Hendrick, and Frances McCoy has added a whole series on career exploration and career preparation or career planning. And I don't see those right off. There are some folders for different programs. So I'm not sure how you see those folders on your side. Oh, there they are. Duh. That would be the folders. And so we can create folders. You should be able to create folders. If you can't, just get in touch with me and I can add a folder so that you can put your materials in it. So here's a way you can also, what do we say? We don't steal. We borrow and modify.
Collaborate.
Collaborate. That's what we do as teachers, right? And build on each other's work and just help each other out. So I will turn it back over to Meriah. Thank you for letting me interrupt for just a few moments. And oh, wait, before I go, all of your accounts are in there. And Ron, yeah, you already had an account. Check your email. And Val, I created an NM Delta account for you as well. And you'll see that in your email.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ms. Tina.
And no, Tina,
You're
I
very
was getting there. I will be very honest, that one was not on my plans because there is just so much here. And so I'm glad you pointed that out because there is just so much. And a huge part of it is just actually getting in there, diving in here, searching things, looking at the buttons, playing with the buttons, making mistakes, hopefully not deleting anything. I have a knack for doing that, but it's just a huge, there's so much available with Nearpod. And like Tina was saying, is that we have for our higher ed plus everything else. And so, just get in here and start digging through and seeing what there is. So I'm going to come back right quick to this one and we will quickly wrap up. I say quickly, I'm not quick at anything, but I'm going to try to be quick. But here I'm going to come back to my edit, which will bring me to this home page. Or this edit page, excuse me. And I'm going to come back to my content and activities. And so we went over the content. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the activities. Most of these are very familiar. So like if I wanted to do a memory test or fill in the blank, a poll, a quiz, matching, open-ended question, the collaborative board, all of these are pretty familiar. Like we know how to do them. We've done them in some sort of aspect. It just makes them embedded into the lesson. So if you're doing a lesson and you want like a quick check-in, you can have an open-ended question. Or if you wanted a discussion, you could have the collaborative board. Now, this one is a little bit, you want to be a little bit wary about it because if you have students doing independent work, if you're not doing this in class, then you don't want to incorporate this into one of those lessons because they won't be able to collaborate with anybody. It'll just be their own independent study. So you want to make sure that if you do have a lesson where you just want them to work on their own, that you don't incorporate one of these just because they won't be able to interact with anyone. But we do have the polls, we have the quizzes, we have fill in the blanks, matching pairs, drag and drop, draw, the Flipgrid. If you're using Flipgrid, you can import it in to here. The one that was really interesting that I found was a little different that I just wanted to quickly address was the time to climb. Now this is really fun. It's a game-based quiz. It is a little goofy, and I will say it is a little bit, the design for it looks very childlike. It looks like it's for kids because it has, you can pick your player, which I think is a frog, a bear, a turtle, and a dog or something else. But it is a game that shows students, how is everyone else doing? And so it's like everybody's in a race to make it to the end. So it's a timed activity. It reminds me a little bit of Kahoot or quizzes if you've used either one of those. And so if you have a class that is very competitive and a class that loves those interactions and like I'm winning, I'm getting there faster, I'm going to make it to the top quicker, this is going to be one of those activities that you can use. So you can go ahead and add your own questions here. You can add more questions. You can add more answers. If you collapse this box, you can add a picture. You can change the time limit. You can duplicate. You can delete it. You can collapse it. There's a lot of different, just building up your quiz. Or, like I said, you can also explore the library to see what they have. So if I wanted to talk about angles, then I could just type here and see what there could possibly be. So let's just say I want to go ahead and talk about lines and angles here. It's going to put all of the questions that have been added from this previous one, and I can see whether I like them or not. Is this something that I want to add or not? Do I want to change the time? I definitely can, because now it is in my presentation. So I can add it, I can edit, excuse me, as much as I want. And so once I am done, I can save it, and then I have my game to play with in the middle, or to practice, play, participate, however you want to word that. But it's all right there. And so this one is the one that I said, it does look a little bit more on the childish side, a little bit more of that. You can tell it's like for probably an elementary, but I work mostly with ESL right now. And they absolutely love, all of these competitive things. And honestly, even the HSC, depending on the group, it always depends on your group. I won't say that everyone is the same. Depends on your group. They might really enjoy it as well, just because it is very competitive. It's very engaging and interesting to see as well. And so, of course, there are so many options. And like I said, I would highly encourage you, if you are building one from scratch, because this is what this is. This is building one from scratch, putting in all of your information, what you want to present, how you want to present it, or if you wanted to merge slides, whatever you wanted to do. This would be a great way, but I would highly recommend picking 2 or 3 to really run with, to practice with, become comfortable with those 3, and then choose another 3. Try not to put too much. Try not to put too much in there, because it can get very cluttered very quickly. You don't want to have too many ideas bouncing around, because even the students can get overwhelmed. If you're getting overwhelmed, the students are probably going to be just as overwhelmed, and you don't want to do that. Just kind of think about it like this. There's a lot. And like I said, it's all about just kind of jumping in there, diving in there, trial and error. Some things are going to work, some things aren't. How are you going to make it, your own activity? So I'm going to go ahead and preview so you can kind of see what all of these were, because I added them in there, but I didn't really show you how it looks. So I'm just going to preview right quick. And it gives me a brief overview of how the students see it. Now, I won't be able to answer any of the questions, and even the game I won't be able to see or participate in, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what it looks like. So here is my, there you go. Here is my video with my questions. And so I can have it just run through. Once the students answer those questions, of course, here comes one, pops up. They would answer it, they could see the solution, and then go to the next page. This is, there we go. This is the 3D model where students can turn, they can scroll in, they can scroll out, they can look at it, they can turn it, and really look at some of those things. So there's a lot of different ones on there. So that could be something that, I heard a question. Is there a question?
It looks like Dr. Tran raised his hand.
Sorry, Meriah, I have to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
This is amazing. I wish we have this available when I took my NP class, when I took my anatomy and physiology class. This is amazing. I love it.
It is, and it's very detailed. It's almost like being able to see it like if you had one in the classroom, and being able to, zoom in as much as you want, kind of see where everything is. This is really, really fun. And the students, they like to be able to see it, and they can manipulate it. They can turn it, they can twist it if they wanted to. And of course, like guys, they're going to go look into the brain, something like that.
It was not available when I took my advanced anatomy and physiology class back in college. I love this. This is amazing. And a while ago, you mentioned about ESL students, how they like the animations. I came from an ESL program, and it wasn't available when I was a student. I love this a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will be sure to take this back to my team. And as we hire a new instructor for ESL, I would love to share this with them. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes. I have my heart in ESL. I love all of our AE students, but definitely my heart is with the ESL students, because they they love the hands-on, they love the different things, and they love learning all of this stuff. So it's really fun to see it. But
It is. Can I get back with you later on after training so we can talk more about ESL program? Is that possible?
definitely,
All
definitely.
right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right. So this was the 3D models. There's all kinds of 3D models in there that they can play with, they can look at. It depends on what class you're working with. Now, of course, you're not going to have like an infinite number of 3D models, but you do want to go in there, search, and see what is available. All right, the next slide is the PhET simulations. Now with this one, it is, you can have them kind of play around with what shapes there are, how they would go. You can do the mass. If there's a larger mass, what would happen? If there's no friction, what would happen if there's no friction? You can build build a pie graph. Wow, that was horrible. A bar graph, a grid. There's a lot. You can do it in slow motion. These are all for like, this one would probably be like graphs, maps, stuff like that. It just gives the students the ability to see what would happen in, I was like, why is it going so slow? To see what would happen in different situations. And so there's a lot of other simulations that kind of give you a better idea of maybe, I know one of them was like chemistry or balancing weights or something like that. And pendulums is one of my favorite ones to kind of watch. And I just sit there and watch it back and forth. Of course, when I have nothing else to do, but you know, students love being able to do this and play with it and see what would happen. Well, what might happen in this case? What might happen in that case? You know, the scientific process is really fun to do with these PhET simulations. And then next we have, I think this is, okay, this is the time to climb. Now on this side, as since I am just looking at it as a preview, you won't be able to see what the student sees, what the student is able to see. But if you wanted to see how it would look, you can definitely do like a dry run. If you have two different devices, either like your cell phone, you can definitely put this on as like a student run and just have them like do it on your own, and you can see how it would show the difference of how you would answer this. If you get it correct, what happens? And it is a huge game. So that's the only thing is I really do wish that you could see this time to climb, just because it is different. It is built through Nearpod. And it's the only one that's a little different from all of the others. Because like I said, all of these, we pretty much know how to run through them. We've done them before in class, usually paper and pencil, but now it's a way that you can make it interactive. So I'm going to go ahead and save and exit. Oh, the one thing that I didn't say. Right up here, it shows you how big each your lesson is. So as I'm building this one is 30 megabytes, and it's going to be very slow to actually save. So we were ready for this because I knew it was going to happen. I'm going to jump back to our presentation right quick. And I know we are just about done with this presentation. I'm just going to wait for that, and we're going to go back. But one of the things that I do want to do is that next week we are going to have a workshop. Now with the workshop, there are so many questions, there are so many things that we can cover that we really won't have enough time. Nearpod is so big, there's a lot of questions, a lot of material that we could really go over. So with that workshop, I really want it to be designed for you. What do you want to do? What are some topics that you would like to explore in this interactive workshop? I'm going to put it in the chat. I should have sent it to you, Jamie. I'm so sorry. So with this Padlet, if you put these topics on there, I will be prepared next week to go ahead and start answering some of these. If you are currently using Nearpod, what are some issues or questions you would like to be answered? Or what are some topics that you would like to explore? Now, I put the link in the chat. If it does not work, please let me know. But I put that link in the chat, like I said, because I want to be prepared for next week. Because if we come next week, there can be thousands of questions and I want us to make the most of our time because we only have an hour and I want to be respectful of your time. This is for you. And if I design it, well, I can tell you exactly what I want to know about Nearpod, but what do you want to know about Nearpod? And so that's going to be important. So if you guys could go ahead and do that, that would be great. You can do it now or you can do it later. And of course, my internet is going to be cranky right now. But once I am done, this is what it would look like. I can hit edit or I can go back to my home page. And I have all of my lessons here, or I have even created folders because I don't like a messy dashboard. And so, like I said, this is Nearpod 101, just going over some of the basics. There's a lot. We could be here for hours probably just going through everything, just seeing the different options, and the possibilities are endless with this. But this is just the basics. So remember that in your mind as you're exploring this and going through, is that we just went over the basics. If there is more that you would like to see, we can definitely set a time. We're going to do our workshop next week. If there's more interest, we can definitely do something else later down the road as well. But as you guys are finishing up that Padlet, please, please, please join us next week for our workshop, April 29th. It's going to be the same link. It should be, Jamie will send out, I'm saying Jamie, I'm looking at Jamie. Jamie will send out a reminder because she is absolutely amazing at that. We will discuss some best practices. We will practice building a Nearpod lesson maybe. But most of all, we're going to share ideas, experiences, ask questions, get ideas. I really want this to be a workshop that is designed for you because you guys are the teachers. You guys know what you need more so than what I would know what you need. But so please, we are looking forward to next Friday at 12 o'clock to be able to build off of some of what we've learned today. So we have like 8 minutes, so I'm gonna open up the floor. Jamie, were there any questions?
None that weren't already answered within the chat.
Awesome.
So one thing that Tina did mention that I want to make sure that everybody saw on the chat was that there are teacher resources within Nearpod. So definitely check those out. Now that you all have the Nearpod school account, you can check out the teacher resources there. And I don't know, there they are. You can see Meriah has them on the screen right there at the left side at the bottom. So yeah, check those out, and hopefully, you're able to attend the workshop, because the workshop is really an opportunity for you all to dig in, try it out, and get really personalized help with that. And we're getting a lot of thank yous. No further questions though.
Oh,
Thank you, guys. I really enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
so we appreciate y'all being here, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Have a great weekend, everybody.